Hi everyone, this is Jörg, which is German for George, here at Find a Job in Germany. I am not in Berlin, even though we're based in Berlin. Those of you who've been following us for quite some time do know that, but I'm actually in my old hometown, which is also why I'm sitting in the car. I'm meeting someone who has moved to my old hometown, which is Aachen, and you're going to find Aachen to be very, very close on the border that is shared by Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Aachen is renowned for Charlemagne, the emperor who covered a lot of space in Europe back in the days, 900, I think. And there's also some delicacies that we're going to try out, and it's famous for university. There is a lot of international students that do study here. In general, the region is pretty nice when it comes to roaming in the European Union. You can easily go to Belgium, easily go to the Netherlands. And the person that I'm going to meet now is Swarna. Swarna is a QA engineer who came to Aachen, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago. I have to ask. And she's been here enjoying herself so far. At least that's why I heard what I heard. And I'm not going to tell you more about her story of how she found a job in Germany through our coaching program, of course. And we're going to find out more on the interview rounds, the application process, of course, the visa process, how she finds living in Aachen and in Germany so far in general. And that's what this video is about. Thank you so much and enjoy. So here we are. I'm here with Swarna in Aachen, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, it's great to meet you as well.
Ooh, the weather is so shitty that we ended up getting into this cafe where they're also playing the Euro Cup. Swarna, it's really nice of you to share more insights about your story of coming to Germany. We want to maybe structure this a little. I'd like to ask you more in the beginning about how you ended up finding a job in Germany. I think this is most interesting for everybody who keeps following this channel. And then naturally, the application process, how that was for you, the interview process, and well, then you coming to Germany, of course. That's something that is very interesting for the people. My first intro would be, and you can add on to that whether or not it's true, QA engineer. You are 30 years of age. You are from Bangalore. And you used to work for a US-American company back in India, and you started applying for jobs back in 2023 in Germany. Is there anything else that we should know about you?
Oh, that's right, actually. Thanks for the intro. And yeah, that's a short intro about me. And honestly, before joining this program, I never believed that I would make it here. And I was first starting to apply on my own. But then I would, as usual, didn't get as much response as I thought. But then after I joined FAJIG, things were, very smooth. And this is like a dream come true for me.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Let's rewind a little. You actually found out, okay, this is gonna not work for me. I need help. Is that what caused you to apply for a program?
So yeah, initially I kind of decided that I would love to work in Germany, and then through like the platforms like LinkedIn, I started to apply on my own. But then it's hard to get interview calls, and I didn't get as many responses as I thought, and so that was like and then I was maybe looking for some help in a market who can, help in understanding what is missing or what can be added and things like that. So that's when I think I found you guys, and yeah, that was a great step.
Perfect. You're a QA engineer. You've worked in testing for 7, 8, 9 years. Is that right?
Yes. So I worked as a QA engineer and test automation engineer. So I worked for a US multinational company. So I have around 9 years of experience.
Wonderful. And your stack was Cypress, Selenium. You work with Python extensively?
Yeah, so it's with Python extensively, and also with Selenium Cypress for automation. And I also worked on Kubernetes as a platform,
okay.
Kubernetes platform, and also a bit of databases and cloud, AWS, Azure.
Now, the application process. Of course, we went ahead, we did a revamp of her CV. You know that probably already. And along with that comes the chore to do actively applications on a regular basis to get calls. When you got your first call, what happened next?
So I think I got my first call maybe 3 weeks after we started applying. So initially, so it took 3 weeks. But then when I got my first call, I just told my person at the FAJIG, my mentor, or I'm not getting the right word.
Who did you work with, Luciano or
Luciano,
Andrea?
yeah,
Okay,
Luciano.
wonderful. So it was Raul and Luciano.
Luciano, yeah.
Okay.
And then so they have an extensive video which can give you a lot of information about the interview rounds and everything. So those were very helpful. And then I had a mock interview with Luciano, where he really highlighted what are the things that I have to work on, and for me the culture fit round was something new, and like most of you have seen, this is something which you may not have done in your own home country. So for me that culture fit round was a new thing altogether, and I think he really helped me to understand where I need to do better.
Maneuvering around the funny questions that they might ask, right?
Yeah, and this is one kind of thing where you really cannot understand if you answered it right, because see, if it's a tech round, you really know this is the answer. But then if it's a culture fit round, you cannot know if it's right or wrong, or if you did it well. It's difficult, yeah.
But what I like to say always, you get used to it, right?
Yeah. So initially, this was a bit of a learning curve. And then, once I did the mock interview, I think that was very helpful. After that, I was able to clear the round. And first two companies, I attended 2 interviews, and both of them I was able to clear.
Wonderful. Yeah, and that's what we always keep saying. You want to make your shots count. Generally, you're not going to be swamped with calls just because you joined the personal coaching program at FAJIG. It's not like we're performing any miracles here. It's a system that is designed to get you calls, of course, but then we're asking everyone, you need to perform in those first rounds. How were the tech rounds, Swarna?
The tech rounds were a bit different from what we usually see in our own home countries, but then it was good. It went really well for me.
How was it different?
So here you really have to explain how, say, if there's a problem, you need to explain how you approach the problem and how you did it yourself. So you shouldn't really say that, I took this help, that help. They really want to know that, they really want to know how you did it. And if they, in the future, if they give you some task, or when you hit a roadblock, they are really interested to know how you would overcome it and do things, own things mainly.
Were there technical things that you, when you were faced with one of those challenges, that you've never heard of?
For me, I've done similar things in the past. I've not heard of new things.
There was nothing that was totally new to you.
It was not totally new to me, but then, first you need to really go through the videos from the FAJIG chapter. Like you have chapter 1, 2, 3. Once you go through, I think you probably get better idea on how to, face things. But then, the questions were, for me at least, I felt it was kind of expected. I knew that they would look. And they also really want to know about your project. You should have a good idea about what you worked on, and given a situation, what kind of thing you would how would you pick something, or say how would you solve a problem.
Right.
So that kind of questions I had, and a bit more on my own project as well, and related to cloud. So
Okay,
they were
great.
technical questions.
Coming back, the stack that you had was very wide. You were not just familiar with the different ways of testing, you were also familiar with some DevOps technologies and tools, and cloud. Which cloud was that? AWS?
AWS and Azure.
Okay, and Azure, okay.
Yes.
Would you say that in the end, in the tech rounds, it is all about not so much what you achieve as a solution, but how you reason it and how you come to it and how you express it and how you're able to even defend it?
Yes, I would definitely agree to that. Yeah. So at the end, it really matters how you can relate. And so, say for example, if you given, if they ask you a question, you should, if you can relate to a project from your resume, and you can point out that I had a similar thing from here and I solved it, then I think that adds a lot of value. And they really want to see the real examples, not just theoretical. So nobody is really interested with the theoretical stuff. They want to really know from your project. So I think that is quite important.
And this is really what just keeps, I feel, confirmed, of course, in this, because I keep on witnessing this, so do Tomo and Raul over the last years. It's always pretty much the same that it ends up being. It's not the solution as such, it's how you come to it, it's how you reach it, it's how you're able to reason when you're finding your way. And of course, it's about kind of a simulation of what it might be like at the office, because they're also, it's like putting your heads together and discussing through certain scenarios and what would happen if. And that's essentially also what it's about in the tech rounds, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, of course, sometimes they pick real examples of what they are facing from in their own company. Maybe, at least I've not seen it in other interviews, but here I really saw they had a problem, and they were asking me how I would, try to solve it. That problem exists even today, but then they wanted to know during my interview how I would try to approach it. So even now, when I join the company and I see, yes, they really have that. That's why probably they asked me.
Are you the only or the first employee from abroad, or how is the team structured?
Okay, so they have few international employees. I'm not the first one, at least. They do have, the team is a bit international. They hire abroad, and they have people from different countries coming and working here.
And the people that interviewed you were also the ones who made the decision and that you're now working with?
Yes.
Okay.
They are the ones I'm working with right now.
So the hiring manager is also now your real manager?
So my tech rounds I had with my own manager and another teammate. So that is the exact person with whom I'm working with right now.
Okay.
I think they were pretty clear on the kind of person that they wanted. So they really put in only the people who can identify that, I want such a person as my teammate. So they really wanted someone who will identify it. So they just brought in such people only during the interview.
All right. And in the final round, so it was 3 rounds with this company altogether. Pretty straightforward setup. We keep on repeating. First round is a get-to-know round. Second would be technical assessment. And third would be culture fit.
Yeah, and technical, sometimes it can go a bit longer as well. So for me, initially it was scheduled for 1 hour, but then it went for 1.5 hours because we really digged in.
That's a good sign, though. That's a good sign. Because that means that they like you. And then they can totally see themselves hiring you, and this is what you want to achieve. Be kind of a part of a team already.
Yeah, and maybe, so I would say you guys should make sure that you can give such time. Sometimes, I know it may not happen always, but then you need to really think about what if my round goes half an hour extra. You need to plan that ahead. That's what at least I
feel. So that, if your future boss still keeps on talking, you don't have to get to another appointment.
And of course, the learning curve for me was mostly with the culture fit round. I would say that was a new thing. And then once you there's small learning curve, and once you go ahead of it, I think you'll all be good. And FAJIG has been very great, and they've given me good feedback to to pass the culture fit round.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And this is also what we keep on doing. We do mock interviews, of course, in which we're able to simulate scenarios that you're going to be faced with. And it's not like we're going to be able to predict the kind of questions that they're going to be asking you, but we know from our set of experience, of course, what kinds of questions you can typically expect. But you're going to be tossed the ball. You better be able to catch it and do something with it. And that's what we can keep on practicing. I would like to get back to one word which you specifically mentioned. That's learning curve. I like you using that word because I like it so much in our approaching program. What is the whole learning curve thing about? Why is it so important?
Because I feel because we didn't have this kind of like a culture fit kind of thing in our own home country, so it is the first kind of thing that we face here, or this is the first time I'm seeing something like culture fit, and companies really find that round it's very important for them because they want to understand if this person, if he or she joins my team, how will it be, how will the environment be, or can I work with them? It's very important. And the learning curve, I would call it learning curve because that is not something which I'm used to before. And then that round, it's a little difficult to understand if you answered it right, because there is no right answer to a culture fit question. And from the reaction that the interviewers give you, it is hard to predict if they were satisfied.
There is also people who like to have poker faces. So I guess, but again, it's also about getting used to. And the real thing about learning curve, I can only underline what Swarna has just said. It's about time and giving yourself time to improve. Nobody is the same way in terms of performance when they start and when they end up getting a job.
Yeah.
That's really all I can say.
And you should always you should stay motivated throughout the process, because I believe that once you've signed up with FAJIG, then definitely you will get an offer. So you should definitely stay motivated. Maybe if you do not qualify, then you should still keep yourself motivated. That is also quite important in the entire journey.
Absolutely. Motivation, commitment, we can only repeat ourselves here, is really what it comes down to. And we do work with you as long as it takes. Those of you who follow this channel for some time now, they know that. But it's also important to understand that we expect this commitment, because life happens. If you're not able to commit, it's fine, but then it's a life-changing thing. You want to be focused on this thing. You don't want to just take it lightheartedly. You don't want to just, I'm going to, by the way, also try to find a job in Germany. No, you want to really focus, take your time, and this is what you did. And I think that's also part of your success story, if I may add.
Yeah. You need to be focused, and I think the best part for me was the video is so detailed that you just have to, follow it. That's all.
The video course.
The video course itself is quite detailed. And there...
it's true.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows about the video course as much until we sell it to people. But we work in two ways. One is the WhatsApp group, and the other is, yes, the video course. And the reason why you have a video course is essentially not to have to tell everybody the same thing 100 times. But the content is key. And this is what I really appreciate about you having shared here. You want to maybe give us a little bit of an insight into the visa process. How did that work?
Okay, so for me personally, I would say the visa process was pretty straightforward. But what really took time is my employer was taking some time to give the papers. That took some time. But then when I applied through VFS in Bangalore, and I just got my visa in 4 days. That's all it took.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's the story we like to hear. It depends on the slots that open up in the calendar page of the consulate. Is that right?
So, but now it sounds like there are a lot of slots actually. At least when I was trying to do it, I was able to get a slot the very next day itself. But then I wanted some time, so I booked it 2 days after that. And then the process was quite straightforward. So if you can opt for the, you can actually go without the premium launch, but that is perfectly fine. It's up to you. I took the premium launch, and they will just collect the documents, and it's quite straightforward. I didn't expect that I'll get a visa in 4 days. So I just gave the papers and I went on a trip. And then when I'm back from the trip, the visa's already there. That was like a surprise for me.
That was really fast. 4 days and that is your blue card visa stamp in your passport, correct?
It was D visa stamp.
Visa stamp.
D visa stamp in the passport.
Now, when you're here, you're eligible for a blue card. Are you going to get that in a couple of months?
Yes, I'm going to apply.
So that's the difference. You get your physical card a few months into being here, because here at immigration, they're going to ask you to produce some salary slips, some other documentation. And then usually people end up getting their blue card also in the 3rd or 4th or 5th month. And then, just to add up on that, comes usually the extension of your 6-month visa, which is tied to your probation. That's why it's 6 months. I guess it's also
like
1
year actually.
Oh, you got it 1 year already. Wonderful. After that, they keep on extending it one more time.
Okay.
And then they give you unextended. And that is what you want, permanent residency.
Cool. That sounds
I don't
great.
know if that's the plan for you here, but maybe this is also a little too early. You've just been in Aachen for 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, a little bit, 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks, wow.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that in the next clip. So if you like this one, this was more about the program. We're going to stay tuned here, and we're going to share more insights about life in very West Germany. This is almost Belgium, almost the Netherlands. It's a very, very interesting, very special area. I grew up here myself, which is also why it's been a pleasure to talk to you, Swarna. Thank you so much for sharing. And what would you like to share as a final remark to the audience on anything, really, when it comes to applying for jobs in Germany?
Okay, I would just say, you should stay motivated throughout the process. You'll definitely make it. And then, so whenever there's a mock interview and the feedback is really good, so please try to take that and improve upon yourself. And maybe there may be few cultural differences when you come to work here, but then I think it's all about life, and there are always changes happening, and you should adapt to it. Yep.
Wonderful. And the adventures that come along.
Yeah, adventures come along.
Wonderful. If you're interested in joining our personal coaching program, you probably know what to do already. You just need to watch our video training. training, and then book a get-to-know call with us. There's always slots opening up, not like with the consulate in Bangalore, but we're working on providing more. Then you have a get-to-know call with Paul, and he's going to check some basic skills, and then there's a strategy call that you have before boarding on. We need to make sure that you fit, of course, and this is something that you want to do. And then we're happy to board you onto a personal coaching program. Just follow the link that you see underneath this video, and we're happy that you're following this channel. Thank you so much. Thank you, Swarna.
All the best to you guys.
All the best. Take care.